You see the District 11 powwow going on out there at center field, including the athletic director for Central Catholic, Dennis Ramella. And there you can take a look at the starting quarterback for Mount Carmel, Mike Higgins. He's a junior, 5'11", 170 pounds. Higgins, a third-year starter this season, already with 1,448 yards on the year and 14 touchdowns.
Well, and that's right. You know, I mean, as a junior, that means he's been starting since his freshman season, and a lot of his team's success will fall on his shoulders here tonight. Obviously, a man with a lot of experience, has played in a lot of big games, and he's going to be the guy that has to keep them calm. And coming in here to foreign territory, having to travel to Allentown and J. Bernie Crum Stadium to take on the Central Catholic Vikings.
And now let's take a moment and listen in on the coin toss at midfield.
Okay, man. Visitors, we're going to call you white. Home team's going to call you green. We have a penalty situation. We're asking for a captain. Come find myself or your umpire, Mr. Becker, please. Don't make us come search you out, okay? I'm just going to call the toss. 37. Okay, this is the coin we're going to use. That's a head. That's a tail. I'm going to toss it in the air. I want you to follow while it's in the air, please. I'm going to catch it and throw it on the back of my hand. If I drop it, we'll start all over, right? Here we go.
Head.
Call the head. It's a head. Okay. It's going to be Green's choice to start the ball. With the ball, which end you want to kick from and defend? That's the other.
There you have it at midfield. Chickalemi, Mount Carmel that is, winning the coin toss and deferring to the second half. They will have the wind at their back. Central Catholic will get the kickoff.
We've seen a lot of teams do that this year, and I even talked with Jim Morgans. If he won the toss, he was also going to defer. So, a lot of teams are looking to put their defense out on the field first. But District 11 3A championship game only moments away. The Vikes won the championship back in 1991 on the strength of a Tim Cramsey 3 TD performance in their win over Lehighton on that night. And tonight they're back home here trying to duplicate that season of 1991.
And what a night it was. I know one of those touchdowns was the shuttle pass to Rashawn Drayton, and that play indeed was the one that buried the Indians last year. I imagine we'll see that at least once tonight, Mike.
Yeah, that's a play they've used to great success. The Red Tornadoes, as Mount Carmel is called, under Whitey Williams, as Dan had talked about. Look for them. They're an explosive team. We talked about they've scored a lot of touchdowns. They have quickness. They're not real big, but they're a little smaller than Central Catholic. They are going to rely on their quickness and speed to make up for the difference in the size.
You saw Rashawn Drayton to the left, Jose Delgado to the right, the receiving team for Central Catholic. And ready to let the ball fly to get the game underway, Jason Klingerman, the 5'11", 195-pound senior. And the District 11 3A championship is now underway. The ball going to Delgado, receives it at his 9. Let's call it the 10, and he's hit right away and knocked down at his own 13-yard line. Delgado will remain on the field behind the quarterback for Central Catholic, number 10, Tim Cramsey. He's a 6'3", 210-pound senior.
Well, and immediately you get an idea of the quickness of this Mount Carmel team. Leading the charge, number 21, Joe Wargo. Good special teams play.
Quite a wake-up call. Central Catholic having to start things off from their own 13. Let's call it the 14. Cramsey going under center with 2 receivers to his right. Delgado, that's Drayton in motion, and a handoff. Brought off field for a small gain. That was Sean Fogarty, the 5'9", 185-pound senior halfback.
Well, Fogarty is kind of the other guy in the backfield. 333 yards coming into tonight's action. Stop made by Jerry Dimitri.
Let's call it 2nd and 7 from the 17. And the Vikings always shifting backfield. A handoff And Delgado spins out of one tackle and finds some running room. Look out. Diving forward to about the 30-yard line for a Central Catholic first down.
Well, that's some kind of effort by number 22, Delgado. Play stopped. The pursuit overran the play, and Delgado was able to find a path back onto the weak side.
And were it not for a defender or two, it might have been so long goodbye for Jose Delgado.
Cejitano on the stop, number 3. Aaron is a 5'7" senior.
Once again, Vikings moving in the backfield left and right. Cramsey, the handoff. And wrapped up and thrown back was number 32 for Central Catholic. That's Sean Fogarty, the halfback. But not before he picked up about 4 or 5 yards on the carry.
Stash Pultanovich on the stop, number 45. A couple of tough names we're going to be dealing with here tonight, but we'll get him down. Tim Cramsey, the record-setting Central Catholic quarterback.
Linguistic calisthenics. Delgado on the move. Cramsey, look out, gets it off. And pushing it up is Drayton. Cramsey with little time to even hand that one off, but it's a little short of a Central Catholic first down. Let's call it 3rd and 2.
Jason Klingerman, number 57, was the man who got through there in the middle and almost got to Cramsey before he could hand the ball off. Making the stop, number 50, Joe Bender.
3rd and 2 from their own 38-yard line. The Vikings happy to go with the ground game so far, and they'll continue to do so. Here's Drayton. Drayton kicking it outside, finding some running room with sheer speed, but we have a flag down in the backfield.
Well, Drayton tried to break that to the outside, which he was successful with, and a lot of times that will lead to maybe a clip or a hold, and I believe that's what the call is going to be.
See if we can pick it up here.
Sweep to get everybody moving right. And there you see maybe in the middle of the screen was the attempt at a hold, and looked like maybe it might have been a good call there. Our officials, which we did not go over, referee Darrell Woodring, you just took a look at, umpire Dan Becker, head linesman John Ettinger, line judge Steve Rennick, back judge Phil Durensis, and the field judge Jim Kimmel. Those of you who might not have heard, Bethlehem Catholic did lose to Berwick this afternoon, so Berwick advances into that Eastern Conference Finals.
And in a few weeks, here we go, Delgado with the shuttle pass, and he puts it outside to the 50-yard line, a foot race, and he's finally run out of bounds just shy of the 40. So Central Catholic penetrating the Red Tornadoes' backyard.
Dave Slater, the man who saves a touchdown, and it didn't take us long to see that little shuffle pass, Dan. You know, a play that the Vikes used to great success. It is a forward pass, a completion for Cramsey and Delgado. 32-yard pickup on the completion.
You look at the stats and you'll think Cramsey's got a pretty good arm. 32-yard pass.
Yeah, you throw it for one and let Delgado take it for 31 more.
Drayton going over the right side this time for a gain of about 5 before he stopped. Brings up a 2nd and 4, picking up 6 yards on the carry.
Joe Sinkovich, number 37, making the stop. He will also turn around and be one of the top performers on the offense.
Sinkovich hurting an ankle a couple of weeks ago. He's been hampered. Didn't play much in the backfield last week against Shikellamy, but he'll probably see some action here tonight. 2nd and 4. From the Mount Carmel 35, Cramsey drops back for the first time and legs it out and then lets it go. Incomplete. And he was looking for Sean Drayton downfield at about the 22.
Getting pressure onto Cramsey was number 44, Sean Sheptock, forcing Cramsey out of the pocket. Good job by the secondary for Mount Carmel, not allowing anybody open. Cramsey just ran out of real estate and had to throw it down into the dirt. There's Jim Morgans, Sam Seneca standing into his right. First time ever an East Penn Conference championship went to the Central Catholic Vikings this year, undefeated and 11-0.
And a return performance in the District 11 championship game, a game that they won last year against Lee Heighton. Pulling it forward was Sean Fogarty, and he barrels forth as he's hit. Depending on the mark, it looks like it may be a little short.
Number 57, Jason Klingerman, leading the charge on the defense.
And we'll call the chain gang out, but let's take a look at the play in the meantime.
You know, Fogarty is just a hard nose and your typical type fullback runner, likes to run north and south. Does not have the speed of a Delgado or a Drayton, but he gets you the tough yards up in the middle.
Oh my, awfully close. First down, how about that? This is about as close as they can call him right there. So the Vikings continue the charge from the Red Tornadoes 32.
Third first down since taking the opening kickoff.
From the 32, here comes Cramsey, dropping back, hands off. Delgado, or Drayton that is, up to the 30, but no more than that. Gain of 1.
That is a fine defensive play. Knifing through in the middle.
And so far, Coach Jim Morgans has been distributing the ball pretty evenly between his 3 backs. As Central has worked it all season long, passing plays have been rather sparse, but very effective when used.
Well, and this, the way they've opened up here a little bit is a little bit surprising. Mount Carmel, a team that likes to force you into a passing situations. They come up and overplay the run, and I think it just gives you an example of the explosiveness of this Central Catholic running game. They are still able to run the football, and I think Mount Carmel is going to be in a whole lot of trouble here tonight if they do not, at least contain this running game, because once Cramsey starts going over the top, they're going to really start to get them off balance.
And we have a whistle downfield. The officials conferring as the referee heads over to the sideline. There's a discrepancy involving the game clock, which is being kept officially on the scoreboard tonight. 8:13 is shown on the clock. Still scoreless here in the first quarter of action. The District 11 3A Finals, Central Catholic hosting Mount Carmel.
Dan, I wanted to give credit to that last defensive effort, and again, we're dealing with Mount Carmel, who we've not seen, but number 52 who made that stop is Corey Hepler, a 6'4", 215-pound sophomore. Made a heck of a defensive play, knifing through there in the middle. Obviously, we're split numbers because they also have him down as 31 in the program, so tonight he is wearing 52. Maybe they try to hide this guy. There he is. 52 made an outstanding defensive play, and only a sophomore. This Mount Carmel team is very young defensively, play a lot of underclassmen.
They love their high school football up in Mount Carmel, and it shows. This is one team that just keeps on reloading, not rebuilding. And now we still have play stopped now as the officials continue to try to work out the kinks here on a very cold night at J. Bernie Crum Stadium. Temperature dipping down to the 30s tonight, and with the wind chill, that's feeling real bitter about now.
Well, while we have a moment, we'll look at Friday night's action. Congratulations to the Red Rovers of Easton High School, District 11 4A champs. Third time in the last 4 years they have been able to do that, beating Pottsville 26-14. In the District 11 2A championship game, Palmerton a 19-0 winner over Pine Grove. And in Eastern Conference action last night, Liberty 14, Shikellamy 7. Liberty will advance, and they will be taking on Williamsport, who, by the way, did beat Allen today 31-0. So it's Liberty and Williamsport in that Eastern Conference final for the 4A title.
Cramsey, play action, has time, but Galore lets it go downfield. Delgado comes back for it and scores. Central Catholic on the board on a Cramsey to Delgado touchdown. How Delgado threaded the needle there between two defenders, I'll never know. Cramsey hitting his man at the goal line. Delgado falling across for the 6 points.
Dan, there is a real good breeze. They call it more of a wind tonight, and Cramsey throws this into the breeze, and you see the ball hang a little bit. Delgado was wide open, but because the ball hung, the defenders got dangerously close, but Delgado did a real nice job of positioning himself and coming up with the touchdown reception. Cramsey's 13th touchdown pass on the season.
The extra point attempt to be taken. Brian Kozak on the field, lets it fly, and it's good. Central Catholic leading Mount Carmel 7-0. The official time being kept on the field.
Jose Delgado's 23rd touchdown of the year. That will make his 7th or 6th through the passing lanes. There's the extra point. The score for the Vikes. They take the opening kickoff, go 10 plays, 7 on the ground, 3 in the air, 86 yards. Cramsey to Delgado from 30 yards out, and the Vikes have broken on top, 7-0. Dan, an impressive first drive for the Vikings, a team that, as we mentioned, if they would have won the toss, would have put their defense on the field first, but the offense certainly an impressive drive there, 80 yards.
So Central Catholic drawing blood first here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium, their home field. They've been confronting the wind, and as you mentioned, Mike, it certainly had had an effect on the ball on that pass play out of Cramsey's hand, and they'll be kicking into the wind here.
Yeah, really knocked it down, but Delgado did a real nice job of getting in position to come up with the touchdown reception.
Ryan Robbins is the man that kicks off. 6'2", 165-pound senior. And it looks like it'll be fielded short at about the 25-yard line. And the tackle made at the 27. Heard some coaches up here in the broadcast box calling for a face mask, but I don't see any penalty markers on the field.
Yeah, no call made, and it certainly did look like there could have been one. Let's take a look. You're going to be able to judge for yourself. Mike Caramelli will finally make the stop here. But here, coming up this one maybe. Good non-call by the officials. Clearly away from the face mask was number 33 for the Vikes. That was Frank Gallagher, who did a real nice job of feeling he was up too high and then slid down. That was a good play.
So Mount Carmel with the ball for the first time from the scrimmage. And the carry, Brett Veach, the 5'8", 150-pound freshman. With a lot of potential.
Yeah, Joe Ganol on a stop, and Veach, quite a defensive player. 7 interceptions on the year. He's only 2 shy of the school record, so quite a good two-way performer, Brett Veach.
Making big waves in his first eligible year in high school football. There you see the tail of the tape. 2nd down and 8 coming up. From their own 30. And the running play won't go too far. Ball carry that time, Sean Sheptock.
Jeremy Domenico on the stop for the Vikes. The Green Wave defense. They like to pursue, they like to track people down, and they keep on coming after you.
The man calling the signals for Mount Carmel, Mike Higgins, the 5'11", 170-pound junior. His 3rd year starting for the Red Tornado. Spread out wide to the left side now is Joel Gonzalo. Higgins under pressure, gets wrapped up and knocked down.
Safety blitz, and Delgado is able to get there. He not only plays offense, he gives you a great defensive effort on the night. They come with a safety blitz. Watch, he's going to sneak up to the line of scrimmage. A clear opening, not enough manpower there as the backs that come out of the backfield, and nobody there to pick up Delgado.
Jeremy Wells showing some good speed. He wasn't too far behind Delgado to finish it off. So it's 3 and out apparently. Mount Carmel in punting formation, and the block is up and it's good. The ball's loose, and Central Catholic recovers it deep in enemy territory. Falling on the football, Damian Coleman.
And number 23, I believe it was, Nate Davidson is the guy who got a hand on it. The Vikes are not sitting back here. They're coming and attacking. They came with everybody, only 1 man deep. And I believe it was Davidson, the first Viking there to get a piece of that football. Recovery made by number 18, Damian Coleman, and the Vikes now immediately in excellent position with the ball on the Mount Carmel 10-yard line.
An all-out assault on the punter, and it comes up looking green. From the 11-yard line, Cramsey back on the field, and he hands off to Delgado. Delgado looks left, and he's corralled at about the 7-yard line, brought down there with only one man to beat.
That was number 28, Gary Spears, a 5'11", 160-pound senior. Really plays this well. Watch, Delgado will give a little dip to the inside, and we have seen him outrun a lot of people to that corner. Spears has nothing of it, makes a fine open field tackle on Delgado.
Good technique, good fundamentals by most of this Mount Carmel football team. Very impressive fundamentally. Central Catholic with the great field position, going back to work from the 6. A handoff to Drayton, and Drayton trying to sniff out the goal line. Takes on 3 tacklers and is stopped just shy of it.
What a big hole on the right side of that line. The movement to miss deception. Number 27, John Lashinsky, a senior from Mount Carmel, making the stop. There you see the running room that Drayton had. A good tackle in the open field, prevented a touchdown by Lashinsky.
It's 3rd down. The Vikings need 1 yard for a first down, less than 2 yards for a touchdown. The single back, Sean Fogarty. But they'll hand to Drayton, coming around and diving across the goal line. Count it.
Well, the double D's have each registered one. Dangerous and more dangerous. Drayton now with his 21st touchdown on the year, and Delgado with 23. That gives them 44 touchdowns between them. Boy, they are quite dynamite. And all the Mount Carmel people were asking and talking about Delgado and Drayton. And there you see Drayton will, just tumble into the end zone, and I think they can figure out for themselves the package that these two guys are.
The extra point attempt by Kozak, up and good. Central Catholic leading Mount Carmel 14-0, still in the first quarter.
After the turnover of the blocked punt, 3 plays all on the ground from 11 yards away. Drayton taking it in from 2 yards out, and the Vikes now increase their lead to 14-0. Elsewhere today, we were giving some scores. I gave you last night's Eastern Conference 4A, Williamsport 31, Allen 0. Eastern Conference 3A, Berwick 15, Bethlehem Catholic 3. The Eastern Conference 2A, we did not get a final on, and certainly or Schuylkill Haven or Marion. Marion Catholic, by the way, a team that is at 10-1, only lost 1 game. The only team to beat them is Mount Carmel.
Looking at that Berwick-Becca High game, a rematch of an Eastern Conference final a few years back. George Curry back at it, telling us about his rebuilding, his youth, and yet still has the stuff to beat a stellar Bethlehem Catholic team.
Starts 17 sophomores on both sides of the football. I mean, that's an incredible year, and something that is an attribute to both he and his coaching staff.
Here comes the kickoff. Ryan Robbins lifts it up, and it's taken at about the 27-yard line by number 22, Brett Reese. Look out. And he's finally tripped up at the midfield stripe, or else it might have been gone goodbye. The kicker, Ryan Robbins, making the big play.
Well, that's Ryan's duties on the kickoff, certainly to kick the ball, but he is the last guy who has to be back into position and save anything here, and he really makes a good play. It's a good open field tackle there. You know, a lot of times you don't get that kind of an effort from a kicker.
Higgins rolls and then pitches. Look out, loose ball. And Veach falls back down on him.
Brett Veach, who we said is only a freshman, I misinformed you. Bob Veach, obviously his brother, is the guy who's the defensive leader with the 7 interceptions. But Brett, just a freshman, really gaining some great experience here. Looked like he had his head looking downfield rather than looking to pitch into his hands, and easy to do when you start to feel defensive pressure coming towards you.
And Mike, it may have been the excitement of seeing not too many green shirts in front of him. That play might have gone for a great distance had the fumble not occurred. And we've got an official timeout here, as time has apparently run out here in the first quarter without a time clock on the field. It's tough to guesstimate, but Central Catholic getting the better of the first quarter action, leading Mount Carmel in the District 11 3A final 14-0. Back with the rest of the first half right after this. Second and 11 coming up from Mount Carmel. Not far to wander as they put the ball just on the other side of the 50-yard line. That's where the Red Tornado will go to work, just inside Central Catholic territory. Higgins drops back, looks to pass, lets it fly for the sideline, has a man, and it's caught. Down to the 25-yard line goes number 5, Bob Beach.
Ryan Seagreaves, number 21, was under coverage. He got turned around, never saw the ball, but number 5, Bob Veach, the brother of Brett, makes a good reaction to the football. See, you're going to see Seagreaves does not see the ball. He doesn't know where it is. And Breach does a real nice job of coming up with his reception. 24 yards on the pickup and the first down for Mount Carmel on the night.
And they continue to go to the air. The pass quickly caught by Veach again. And Veach working the other side this time is brought down at about the 16-yard line.
First quarter numbers, Mount Carmel, no first downs, minus 6 yards rushing because of the sack, no yards through the air.
Maybe
minus
it's cold
6
outside.
Yards. Central Catholic, 5 first downs, 46 yards, rushing 2 for 3, passing 62 yards, 108 yards of offense for the Vikes in the first quarter.
Late snap, and I believe, well, let's see, Higgins dropped for a big loss. And they're going to mark this at the 27. It looked like a disjointed play from the start.
Jeremy Wells, number 60, leading the way along with number 84, Joe Ganal. Ganal is the emotional guy. He's the guy that gets it. Last week against Becca, he made some plays in that third quarter that I thought really helped to ignite the Central Catholic offense.
And Mike, I think that snap may have occurred a little earlier than anybody expected. Higgins goes back under center, 3rd and 10. Drops straight back, has some time to work with, but not much. Look out. And the shuttle pass is good. Look out, here comes Veach. And Veach gets across the line of scrimmage and picks up 3 yards for his efforts. That's Brett Veach,
yeah,
the freshman.
A lot of action there to pick up 3 yards, but it was a great reaction, and it shows you what kind of athlete quarterback Mike Higgins is. He's under all kind of pressure here, and he stayed calm, he stayed cool, and actually threw it to a guy with the right number. A lot of times you see quarterbacks dump them off like that to the guys wearing 60s and 70s. He's able to find Veach, who's able to get downfield and pick up 3 yards on the play.
And Breach, his assignment on that play was to block. Wisely came back to his quarterback to help out, make something of it. On 4th and long, the Red Tornado will go for it from the Central Catholic 21. Higgins rolls right. Delgado pulls his shirt. It's up in the air. And it's up in the air. Incomplete. And a play that looked like it would never end.
Ryan Seagreaves back in coverage. What another good effort by Higgins. Under great deal of pressure, the Vikes come with the safety blitz again. Watch, Delgado's going to shoot from the left of your screen. Here he comes. Nobody there again to pick him up, and Higgins just does a marvelous job to get rid of the football. Seagreaves is able to make a break, and now they're going to tap it around, and Veach almost came up with a completion.
Bob Veach was indeed the intended receiver, and he did have that second chance at it. And Central Catholic, because of the incompletion on 4th down, takes over at its own 21. Receiver split wide to the left. Ramsey will hand it off, however. And this is Seagreaves bringing it up to the 28-yard line, and a very late penalty marker down on the field.
Tackle made by John Leshinsky. I believe this play is going to come back. They trap leading the way. Number 66 for the Vikes is Jim Morgans. Seagreaves just gives you that tough inside game. Complements Delgado and Drayton so well.
And it is against Central Catholic. This is going to hurt. 15 yards, they'll set it back.
Well, you said it was a late flag, and it was after the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Central Catholic. Jim Morgan's not particularly pleased with that.
And the penalty coming after the play, so they'll get the gain, but the ball will be placed at about the 14-yard line, bringing up a 2nd and 16.
Well, you know, it's a cold night when you see Jim Morgans with a beanie and gloves on. You know, I've seen him out on nights like this with a T-shirt on.
Cramsey, the shuttle pass this time to Delgado. Delgado taking off. Look out. And finally coming up with the tackle is Bob Beach. Delgado blistering the field to about the 35 of Mount Carmel.
Yeah, you know, and Veach showing some good speed. We have not seen too many people able to stay with Delgado. Again, it's the shuffle pass. Yeah, they just influence the end, and it's a lonesome feeling. They don't block you. You naturally go after the quarterback. They shuffle it underneath. But look at Bob Veach.
How about
Delgado
that?
Cannot move him, and Veach is able to stretch out and prevent a touchdown. 48 yards now on the pass completion. 110 yards passing thus far in the night for Cramsey.
And he goes back to work from the 36 of Mount Carmel. 2 men in the backfield. Drayton gets the ball. And some good coverage there by the Red Tornado. And still, Drayton comes up with enough yardage to be real close to that first down marker. We'll see where they put it down.
Yeah, he gets a good block from number 66, Jim Morgans. Watch Jimbo, number 66, coach's son, only a junior. He shields one guy out of the way there. Now he gets a good chunk of a cornerback, and it allows Drayton to get to the corner and finish the runoff.
Not a bad duo there. Drayton following Morgan's lead. And it's 2nd and 1. A dangerous situation for any team facing this offense. Delgado gets the call and reaches over to the 25-yard line. Should be enough for a first down. And it is.
Joe Costello, 5'9", 195-pound freshman making the stop, number 41. 14-0 Vikings in front here. We have 8 minutes exactly to play first half.
And the Vikings looking to clinch a berth to the Eastern Final in 3A PIAA football.
Yeah, everything we've been told, if they win, they will definitely go. You know, we've seen some undefeated teams not get to the playoffs.
Look out. Marching it down was Frank Volpe, getting his first call of the game and making something out of it as he picks up a Viking first down. Pulled down at the 10-yard line.
Volpe, a junior and an outstanding wrestler, missed a couple of games this season and didn't play a whole lot last week against Becker because Central didn't run a lot of offensive plays, but has filled in, shared the fullback duties with Seagreaves or Fogarty, excuse me, and boy, those two have really combined to really solidify that Central Catholic backfield.
Volpe, the youngster, he's a junior, 5'9", 180 pounds.
That's close to 300 yards rushing on the year.
Delgado cuts it across the grain and picks up 5 more yards. 2nd and goal from about the 5-yard line. The Vikings continue to march forward. Mount Carmel trying now to dig in, and talking to some of the folks from Mount Carmel before the game, they said with that new offensive line, some youth also present on the defensive line, and not a whole lot of size there, so it's a little difficult for them to dig in on short yardage situations. Now we have markers coming up in every corner of the field. Some motion on the Central Catholic side of the ball should bring it back.
Yeah, it looked like Delgado, number 22, he was going in motion, and he tried to get back but never got set again.
And the offsides call will bring it back.
Cold night at J. Bernie Crum Stadium. Smallish crowd for this District 11 3A championship game.
2nd and goal from the 10 coming up for Central. And I think the clock is back in order. 6:40 remaining in the first half. Delgado moves. Cramsey, the shuffle pass to Drayton. Drayton escapes 2 tacklers and pulls forward. Somebody trying to strip him of the ball, but Drayton won't have any of it as he falls just shy of the goal line.
Well, you know, we're seeing that shuffle pass more tonight than we do during the regular season. I think one of the reasons a lot of the teams in the East Penn Conference have seen it enough. They're making some adjustments. They're aware this close to the line. Now watch. Here's a situation where Mount Carmel does a nice job of defensing it, and then look at the effort that Drayton gives you in trying to fight towards the end zone, and looks like he got to within 1 yard of it.
Rashawn Drayton, 6'3", 205 pounds. He's a junior. And Drayton gets the ball and dances across the line. Central Catholic on the board for the third time in the first half.
Another impressive drive for this offensive unit. This green machine continues to roll, racking up an average of 365 yards per game, and you see how easily Drayton was able to get into that end zone. Offensive line again for the Vikes doing another good job.
Well, it was Delgado entering this contest, needing only 41 yards for 1,000 yards this season. Chances are he's pretty darn close to that. Rashawn Drayton entering the game with 849 yards to his credit this season, and that is quite a powerful backfield. The extra point attempt is up and good by Brian Kozak. 21-0 the score here with 5:46 remaining in the first half.
The extra point increasing the Viking lead to 21-0, but that offensive line for the Vikes includes Joe Ganal, 84, number 75, George Hogan, Todd Worley, number 65, he of the 88-yard touchdown return or interception return for a touchdown last week against Becca, which really helped them stay in the game at that point. Jeremy Wells, number 60, is a guard. Jeremy Diandomenico, the center, and Jim Morgan's the other guard. Those guys do a heck of a job in moving and staying disciplined and opening up those holes. So, you know, people like Delgado, Drayton, Volpe, and Fogarty can put the numbers on the board the way they have this year. Drive like for the Vikes, 79 yards, 5:46 still to play first half, 8 plays, 6 on the ground, 2 in the air. Drayton from 2 yards out for the second time on the night. The extra point increases the Viking lead to 21-0.
The lone receiver, Jeff Trocchi, 5'6", 135-pound senior. They call him a scat back. Small size, he waits at his 5-yard line. Robbins lets it sail, but it's picked up by number 22, Brett Veach. Veach makes his way across the 26.
Well, you know, in the games that we've done this year, we've seen the Vikes, and nobody has really stopped this offense. I think the best thing that we saw in order to slow that offense down is what Bethlehem Catholic did last week when they controlled the ball for all but one offensive play of that second quarter. I mean, you have to make them sit on the sidelines in order to stop them or slow them down.
Bethlehem Catholic able to do that for a quarter, but no more, as you mentioned. From the I formation, Higgins, the quarterback option, pitches out weak side, and there's some hammering going on down there. My, oh my.
Mike Caramelli, number 44, leading the way along with number 55, Harold Clairfall. You know, that's the way those guys pursuit of the ball. That's the wave of green that continues to come at you. They try to option into the short side of the field and ran out of room, and Caramelli and Fairclough really had good angles there, and Caramelli the first one there.
On second and long, 2 receivers to the right. Higgins heads that way with the ball and then cuts it back to the middle where he stopped for a short gain.
A couple of the Mount Carmel linemen got tangled up there, and it took away the interference that time for Higgins. There was nowhere to go. There was nothing but green and gold in front of him.
Higgins glancing over to the sideline to get the play call. And joining him in the huddle, Jeff Trocchi. Out wide, they send number 88, Joel Gonzalo, the junior split end.
He is Higgins' favorite receiver with over 40 receptions on the year.
Down the middle, incomplete. And the nearest man to the ball would have been Central Catholic's Nate Davidson defending on the play.
Davidson, Fairclough back there in coverage. Seagreaves also. Pass intended for Veach.
I just think Higgins probably was rushed there, Mike. Didn't have a whole lot of time to spot an open receiver.
Yep. Pressure came from the Vikings line, and Delgado's had a couple of sacks already coming on the blitzes. This is our first punt of the night for either team.
And it'll be handled.
No. Second one, the Vikes blocked the punt the first time Mount Carmel punted.
Trocchi's punt gets over the midfield line. Central Catholic will go to work at their own 43. 4:28 remaining in the first half. Central Catholic leading Mount Carmel 21-0. in the District 11 3A championship final here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium.
31-yard punt for Mount Carmel. Vikes offense averaging 36.3 points a game, or 365 yards a game.
Amazing. And they haven't played a weak schedule by any means.
Well, they certainly haven't. Played a lot of 4A schools in that tough East Penn Conference. And, you know, they were real excited about that win last week, going undefeated and winning the school's first ever.
Damian Coleman over his head. Cramsey under some pressure that time as he's decked in the backfield.
Number 57, Jason Klingler, getting all kind of pressure on Cramsey. Cramsey just a real good job to get rid of the football. See, the pressure comes from the middle. Klingler, number 57, well, I believe it was number 66, Jason Rohrbach. And Cramsey just a little bit over the shoulder or outstretched arms of number 18, Damian Coleman.
So the Vikings coming out looking for the big home run shot there. Brings up 2nd and 10. Drayton, play action fake. Cramsey fires midfield. He's got his man and still on his feet. That was Joe Ganal, the tight end. 6'2", 200-pound junior. You just couldn't knock him down.
Well, he's really been coming on. I mentioned his effort in the third quarter of the game last week against Becca, when it looked like they had him trapped short of a first down, and it was on a play like this. Look, one missed tackle, maintains his balance. He takes another shot there. Hey, I'm going in the right direction now, and tacks on another 6 yards. 19-yard completion between Cramsey and Ganal.
Ganal playing a little pinball down there with himself.
He's a tough young man.
1st and 10 from the 39. And Volpe, second carry of the contest, reaches out across and brings the ball up to the 35.
Yastashak and Klingerman on the stop. Well, the Vikes are really looking sharp again tonight, Dan. And the defense is playing well. The offense is obviously moving the ball. They have 21 points on the night, 3:12 remaining in the first half.
And you look back at the beginning of this game, Jose Delgado getting the opening kickoff and stopped deep in his own end, and it didn't rattle the Central Catholic Vikings for a moment. Came out and put together a nice drive. And here comes Delgado, speaking of the young man. Look at him go, dancing and then hammering his way to the 15-yard line.
You know, Jose Delgado with that low center of gravity. You know, you really have to get him down low and take the legs out from underneath him. Excellent balance. Hogan gets a good block at the line of scrimmage, number 75. And now look, they have him seemingly wrapped up. He spins out. See if we pick up number 20, Drayton. He really, right here, Drayton comes in and he takes 2-3 players out of that play, allowing Delgado to get to the outside.
15-yard gain on the carry. And we have a penalty marker down near the line of, well, I should say, beyond the line of scrimmage, up downfield. And the initial call was holding against Mount Carmel as the officials continue to confer.
Delgado now 5 carries for 49 yards, puts him over 1,000 on the season.
So congratulations to the man who is rewriting the record books at Central Catholic.
Well, the amazing thing about that too, Dan, is let's see, with 5 carries now, that means he's carried the ball 103 times on the year. That's close to 10 yards a carry. That's just unbelievable average and unbelievable, you know, productivity out of, you know, on his part. And it's on a lot of plays like what we just saw, seemingly stopped at the line of scrimmage and able to spin out.
The officials continue to try to get things sorted out down there. And it looks like the ball will be marked exactly where Delgado brought it up to. Penalty declined apparently, and Central Catholic will have it at the Mount Carmel 14.
There was a penalty because they gave Delgado the gain on the play and then tacked a penalty on afterwards. Must have been some kind of a unsportsmanlike or something, a dead ball foul of some kind. I did not pick up the call.
So Cramsey with 4 fresh downs to work with from the 14-yard line, handoff, and Volpe really hammering forward, looking for the goal line. He stopped at about the 5.
Well, we talked about number 24. Volpe is, he's the present and also the future. He's a junior.
Take a look at this hard-nosed run by the young man.
I see that trap. They get so much out of that because you're looking for Delgado and Drayton on the outside, and they do a nice job with the guards inside. And Volpe, good north-south runner, had a big game against Liberty in a starting role where he scored 3 touchdowns earlier in the season for Central Catholic.
Cramsey, handoff, Delgado. He'll corkscrew just shy of the goal line. And it'll be another first down for the Vikings. First and goal from about the 1.
Delgado, again, is going to give you the twisting and turning and fight to the goal line. The one thing about these Viking running backs, they do know where the end zone is. They're always fighting for that extra yard. Now if you're Delgado, you have to think, well, Drayton might get this one. I might not get another chance to get into the end zone. So you give it your all when your number's called down there inside the 20.
Wing backs, Delgado loses the ball, and Cramsey falls on it.
One of the rare mistakes you'll see this team make running this wing T offense. One of the problems, and you might ask, why don't a lot of other schools run this offense? Because there is so much movement, there is so much activity, and it takes a great deal of coordination, and you don't see the Vikes make those kind of mistakes. Looked like Cramsey just put that ball on Delgado's hip and never really got it in there into the breadbasket where Delgado had to turn back for it, and as a result, the fumble.
Time continues to tick off the clock. 1:12 remaining in the first half. 21-0, the buffer that Central Catholic enjoys. Second and goal, Cramsey. This time it's Drayton. And Drayton is stopped and thrown for a loss.
A big defensive effort by Mount Carmel. They get great penetration up front, making the stop number 27, John Lashinsky, along with Brett Veach, number 22. I believe there is another penalty marker down on the field. Central Catholic has called timeout. And joining us in the booth here, Allentown Central Catholic principal, Jim Hodrick. Welcome aboard. In here for a little warmth. Getting a little cold outside. Yeah, he has his hot chocolate. It is, it is awful cold out there tonight.
So Central Catholic will call a timeout, try to regroup as they've been fumbling a little bit here, trying to punch another touchdown in. It would be their 4th of the first half if they can do it. 3rd and 8 coming up. 3rd and goal from the 8, that is. And the Vikings, Mike, as you mentioned, have been running on all cylinders tonight. No hitches except for perhaps the last few plays.
Yeah, it's amazing. The more you watch this wing T offense, and it is a mistake-prone offense because there's so much handling of the ball and so much movement and people misdirecting. And the Vikes very rarely make the kind of mistakes that we've seen. Now as they've gotten down here close to the goal line, but as you can see, still pretty well in control at 21-0. And if it were to stay this way, the Vikes will be off next week and then play in 2 weeks if they win here tonight. So they'll get 1 week off and see who their opponent will be. It will probably be Berwick if they are able to win next week. If Berwick gets beat, then it's up in the air and they're not quite sure who they would play.
Ball, I think, touched at the line of scrimmage. Cramsey was looking for Drayton. And now we've got late penalty markers. You can predict here a little more unsportsmanlike conduct being dished out long after the play was over. And it is a personal foul against Mount Carmel. And we've got another.
Well, I think now what we have is an ejection. I think we have a player that has been thrown out of the game, and certainly Mount Carmel cannot afford this.
Oh, it's an emotional battle out there for a team that has really proven itself this year to be trailing by such a wide margin, and Central Catholic threatening to put another one in the end zone here. You can understand some of the frustration going on out there.
Well, this is a young ball player. Hepler is only a sophomore. And obviously he's trying to plead his case where there's some holding going on, and that kind of stuff inside. But, a young sophomore will learn no matter what it is, you must maintain your composure. You cannot lose your composure or you're going to find yourself on a cold night standing and watching the rest of the game. And that's exactly what happened here. And I'm sure that's what the coaches are talking to him now. No matter how bad it gets out there, no matter how much you think you're in the right, you better button up, get back into the huddle, or you're not going to play any more football. And that's unfortunately what has happened here.
So the Vikings now will have the ball within the 5-yard line, and timeout is called once again as they look to regroup under this new circumstance. It's 4th down and just a couple. Goal to go from the 2. And the frustration still evident out there from the young sophomore Corey Hepler.
Take a look over the past history of the 3A championship in the district. Started all back in 1984 where they only had 3 classes. Liberty won the inaugural event, and then Bethlehem Catholic won in 1985, followed by Whitehall in 1986, and then Lehighton in 1987. And that's when they had only 3 classifications. Then when they jumped to the 4th classification, 88 and 89 were won by Nazareth High School. In 1990, Bethlehem Catholic won again. And in 91, we talked about Central Catholic's District 11 championship. And last year, Bethlehem Catholic, the defenders this year, decided to go up into the Eastern Conference and chase the #1 team in the state, Berwick, and, upheld the reputation of the East Penn Conference well, bowing out 15-3 this afternoon.
4th down, Central Catholic going for 6 more points. Cramsey has it. Touchdown, Central Catholic. On a somewhat broken play, Tim Cramsey tucks and runs and reaches out, just making the goal.
Well, and Mount Carmel arguing that he was not into the end zone, but Cramsey looked like there might have been a design play. They fake again off the running game, which buys Cramsey. No, let's take a look. It's obviously a fake, and now he's under the left arm. He's definitely looking to run there and not throw the ball. I always like that when a coach calls a quarterback option of run or pass, and the guy's a right-handed thrower, and he tucks the ball underneath the left arm, so there's no option involved. I'm running the ball, and Cramsey made a good read. He tucked it and was able to dip inside, got a good block on the end, and able to get into the end zone. 4th time for the Vikes here this evening.
Down on the field, number 50, Joe Bender, 6'1", 222-pounder. He's a senior, and Mount Carmel can ill afford to lose Bender. He's one of the biggest guys out there for the Red Tornadoes.
Number 63 was Chris Wagner, who gave a good block to Cramsey on the outside, and Cramsey did a nice job of setting it up and turning it back inside.
We're going to take a break here and come back for the remaining 33 seconds of the first half. Central Catholic leading this contest against Mount Carmel. The score 27-0. Kozak ready to try a field goal. The hold, and we've got penalty markers down again. The 20-yard attempt looked true, but the whistles blew long before contact was made with the ball.
Yeah, sloppy play now, to say the least. Both teams now guilty of some personal fouls, some penalties, and things kind of coming unglued here. Seems like we've been down in that end of the field inside the 5-yard line now for a half hour. Vikes finally getting it into the end zone.
So that'll step it off. And Kozak will have a little more distance to cover on the next try. 33 seconds remaining here in the first half. It's been all Central Catholic as they lead Mount Carmel 27-0.
Well, and as usual, they've spread it around. Drayton with 2, Delgado with 1, and Cramsey with an unusual rushing touchdown for him.
And the extra point attempt is up and no good. A long extra point attempt from 25 yards out.
And the 3 people that have done it all season as far as the scoring continue tonight. Those three guys, as we talked about, have combined for a total of over 50 touchdowns on the season, and now 4 more here this evening for Delgado, Drayton, and Cramsey. Cramsey usually getting it done with his arm, but this time able to leg it in from 3 yards out, or excuse me, from 4 yards out, capping a 9-play drive, 6 of which were on the ground, 3 in the air, total 57 yards. The Vikes have had 4 possessions and have scored on all 4 possessions. Cramsey capping that one, as I mentioned, with the 4-yard drive, the 4-yard run. The extra point not good, but the Vikes still in control at 27-0. We have 33 seconds till halftime.
Jeff Trocchi, the deep man for Mount Carmel, also joining him back there, Brett Veach. Ryan Robbins, the man who saved the touchdown on the last kickoff, will let it fly again here. And the ball falling off the tee. Tell you a little bit about the windy conditions that are favoring Central Catholic in this quarter. Quite a game at Bethlehem Area School District Stadium last night in the Eastern Conference semifinal. Liberty defeating Shikellamy after being tied at the half. 14-7 was the final. Jason Brader, 2 touchdowns, 152 yards rushing.
And they will be taking on Williamsport for the championship in that game, and you're just going to have to check the paper for the time, and the site probably played at Liberty High School. There was some talk as that they wanted to play that game on Thanksgiving, but I believe that was if it was going to be Allen. Then I also heard tonight that they still wanted to play on Thanksgiving, but not quite sure that Williamsport will agree to something like that. Certainly would have been an interesting situation if Allen were to have won, and Liberty and Allen again playing on Thanksgiving Day. That would have certainly rekindled a lot of memories from years past when it was, Bethlehem versus Allentown on Thanksgiving Day.
Mount Carmel sets up in a passing formation. And Higgins looks to the sideline, and this one will sail to the players off the sideline, incomplete.
Ryan Ritter, excellent position, number 9 for the Vikes.
Clock stopped with 27 seconds remaining.
You see the story. It's been all Central Catholic. 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns.
Joe Gonzalo split to the left, but the handoff. Sheptock pulls it forward as time continues to roll. Small gain on the carry. And it should do it for the first half. Let's take another look at the carry and some of the good defensive efforts here by the Central Catholic line.
Well, that's one of the longest runs from scrimmage that Mount Carmel has been able to come up with here in this first half. An excellent defensive effort by the Green Wave, and the Green Machine offense has done their part. It's been a total team effort for the Vikes as they lead 27-0
And it's now 27-0 as we prepare for the third quarter. Dan Mowdy, Mike Zambelli, Bill Bickle ready to bring it to you.
That was the first of 4 scores for the Vikes in that first half. You see some of the Mount Carmel followers that have followed their team down here to J. Bernie Crum Stadium to find them trailing 27-0 in half. Now let's take a look at the numbers. The Vikes, 11 first downs, 113 on the ground, 5 of 8 through the air, 137, 250 yards of offense, and they lost no fumbles, and they didn't miss a beat. 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. Another look at a Central Catholic score. This is their second score. Drayton taking it in from 2 yards out for the first of his 2 touchdowns in that first half. Delgado scored 1, Drayton 2, Cramsey ran for 1 and threw for 1. And you see the Mount Carmel numbers. Just 1 first downs, minus 13 passing, 3 of 6 through the air for 37 yards, only 24 yards of offense in that first half. So it was a total team effort by the Vikings in the first half. It shows not only on the stats, but also on the scoreboard. And Mount Carmel really in some trouble here this evening as we get ready to start second half play.
Losing yardage in the rushing game, and that tells you a little bit about Central Catholic's defense, which Mike had come under some fire towards the end of the regular season when the defense was giving up some points. However, they were also winning some games in a big way, and those points really didn't matter a whole lot.
Well, they gave up 27 to Northampton, which is no crime. Northampton really came on young sophomore quarterback. They had a good offense. Giving up 28 points to Allen is no shame. You know, Allen, very athletic, very talented team. And they gave up 20 points to Emmaus. You might say Emmaus. Emmaus was one of the best quarterbacks in the East Penn Conference. So they gave up points to some teams. Those teams scored points on anybody throughout the year. You know, and I think they regrouped real nice last week against Bethlehem Catholic. Only gave up 7 points. And here tonight through the first half have pitched a shutout. They have only one shutout on the season, and that was the first game of the year where they beat Freedom 14-0.
So the Vikings will send the ball skyward to Mount Carmel to get things underway here in the third quarter. Ryan Robbins lines it up. And the deep men for Mount Carmel, Jeff Trocchi. And joining him back to number 22, Brett Beach. And it's a grounder handled at the 30-yard line. And looking for some running room is John Lashinsky.
Individual leaders in the first half for Mount Carmel. Nobody with really any kind of numbers to speak of. Delgado, 5 carries, 38 yards. They did take that one run away from him where there was a penalty, so he's still shy of 1,000, but only with he needs about 7 or 8 more yards. Drayton, 8 carries, 24 yards. Volpe, 3 carries, 21 yards. Fogarty, 5 carries, 24 yards. Spreading the wealth and everybody getting the job done.
1st and 10 for Mount Carmel from the 37. Veach tries to cut it back the other way, showing some good quick foot speed, and he's wrapped up and thrown down at about the 42.
Yeah, Veach really shows some good promise. You can see young man, only a freshman, and has some maturing to do yet. Actually cuts this one back. Usually runners at that age try to go to the outside too much. You see turning that play back inside was number 32, Sean Fogarty for the Vikes.
2nd and 7. From their own 42-yard line, the quarterback Higgins pitching out this time. And a nice strong run. First down for Mount Carmel. The ball handled nicely by Gary Spears, a 5'11", 160-pound senior.
No, not only the second first down for Mount Carmel here on the night.
Number 28, Gary Spears on the carry.
Spears, a young man we didn't hear too much about.
Oh.
Excellent run here, gets some good blocking. Spears is a 5'11", 160. He is a senior.
Spears heads out, and he's replaced by Veach, Brett Veach, number 22. Higgins hands off, and Veach brings it forward for a gain of about 2.
Leading the defense, number 61, Mark Lapadula, the 6'3", 245-pound junior.
Everybody bundled up tonight, including the officials on the sideline.
Well, for one thing, it had to be a spirited session in that Mount Carmel locker room at halftime. They seem to be a little crisper, a little sharper here on the offense now as they're moving the football a little bit.
Looking very fresh from the Central Catholic 47-yard line. Look out, Spears loses the first guy through. A correction, the carrier Spears that time. And Spears brings it up about 3 yards shy of a first down for the Red Tornado.
Well, this play really looks like it's going to go for more yardage. Watch how quickly number 55, Harold Fairclough, comes in and a nice open field tackle. Delivers a good hit around the midsection and then slides down and gets around and ties up the ankles.
Mount Carmel patiently putting together a nice drive here. Sending players in motion. 3rd and 3, the handoff to the second man through and going nowhere with that ball.
Number 65 leading the charge, Todd Worley.
Brett
6'2", 245-pound junior.
Coming over to the sideline to get the play is Higgins, and Mount Carmel wants to talk about it a little bit. It'll be a punting situation, 4th and 3. And Delgado, or Drayton that is, heading back to be the receiver. Now Central Catholic laying off the rush. And the punter taking his time and yet still shanking it off to the side. Tough one for Yastashak. Central Catholic will take over at its own 34.
We'll wait for the spot. And as we do, we'll let you know that Andy Himmelwright's directing tonight's telecast. Jim Morgan's.
And there's the first-year man for Mount Carmel, head coach Dave Whitey Williams.
Had a little talk with his kicker there, just an 8-yard kick, and not what he needed to see in that situation.
1st and 10, Vikings go to work from their own 34. Drayton in motion. Delgado gets the handoff, protecting the ball nicely and forging his way to the 40-yard line.
The 45 Stosh Kultinovich, 5'11", 195-pound junior. But not before Fogarty is able to pick up 7 yards. Amazing average by all these backs tonight. Volpe's averaging 7 yards a carry.
Volpe's really enjoying himself out there tonight.
Fogarty at about 5-6 yards a carry, and of course Delgado and Drayton, they get into those astronomical numbers.
8:20 to go here in the third. Cramsey, the quick pass, and Delgado. Drayton skips out of one tackle, bounces off another. Oh my goodness. Refusing to go down until he reaches the 39 or 41-yard line and finally stopped there. Another Central Catholic first down for Sean Drayton.
Well, and that's the way the play is designed. They just flare it out to Drayton and try and create a one-on-one, and that's exactly what happened. Mount Carmel defender came up and was in good position, but Drayton with his strength is able to break free and pick up 19 yards on the play.
8 minutes to go in the third. Ramsey, the handoff. Drayton getting corralled and still manages to pick up a couple of yards without much running room.
Good job by the Mount Carmel defense of stretching the play out towards the sideline. Lashinsky will eventually get credit for the tackle. Lee Drayton is trying to get to the corner here and just runs out of room. They do a nice job of continuing to flow, continuing to force Drayton east and west, and then he just cannot make the turn.
Second and 4 coming up. From the 37, they go to work. Volpe. Not a whole lot happening that time. That was Fogarty on the carry. And it'll be 3rd and 1 coming up.
Jason Klingerman again on the stop for Mount Carmel. Has been very active tonight.
Who do we thank for the hot cocoa tonight, Mike? Is that Bill Bino?
I don't know.
Bill Bickle?
Bino.
This hot cocoa, everything you'd expect it to be except maybe hot. But
Well,
not bad, Bill,
well,
not bad.
See, he has all of that game experience, which we don't have, Dan. You know, he's been doing this for a lot more years than what you and I have been, and you know, he knows what gets you ready for that second half on a cold night.
Yes, sir.
A little bit downhearted tonight, I guess, because of the loss of the Irish this afternoon, but he seems to be handling it pretty good.
Win some big ones, lose some smaller ones. Here comes a handoff now. Drayton, Delgado picks up the pace, brings it up to the 25-yard line. And Mike, that should be enough to put Jose Delgado over the top.
Yeah, he had 38 coming in, and he needed, I believe, 41, so this should put him over the top. He did at one point have it with a run in that first half, which was negated, but this one is going to give senior Jose Delgado 1,000 yards rushing, and as we talked about, the close to 10-yard per run average is just unbelievable.
And you know where this game ball will be ending up. In the new trophy case, no doubt. Jose Delgado's got planned for this and perhaps many, many more after it. Bringing it upfield, Sean Fogarty, the halfback, barrels forward, picks up some more yardage.
Between Fogarty and Volpe, when he's in there at that fullback spot, they're both getting very close to breaking one of those trap plays up the middle for a touchdown. Fogarty within a tackle of breaking this one. Again, it's another good job by the front in the middle of that line, and watch. You know, he's deep into that secondary. If he's able to get away from one tackle out in there, he's going to take it the distance.
And the Mount Carmel defense continuing to hang in there. They've been on the field most of this contest. Delgado, nothing happening there. I say that, and yet Delgado comes up with a good 2 or 3 yard gain. It'll be 3rd and 2 coming up.
Good defensive effort by number 44, Sean Sheptock. Sheptock is also the fullback on the offense. This job, he kind of got in there from the backside and was able to come up with a stop. And Vikes will be faced with a 3rd and 2.
And again, credit that invincible Viking offensive line, really coming off the ball quickly and dominating the trenches. Looks like another Viking first down. Call played dead. The play called dead before the ball picked up by the defender, and it is a first down for Sean Drayton.
Viking offense with the capability to go to so many people. There you see Fogarty with a nice kick out on the end, and you know, they distribute the ball, and I think the offensive coordinators and Coach Morgan's do an excellent job of, you know, getting everybody the football. Certainly Delgado and Drayton need to carry it a few more times than the rest, but everybody gets their fair share, and they're all productive.
5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. And the handoff, Delgado, penalty marker thrown. Delgado is hurted this time.
Number 22, Delgado on the carry.
Some good pursuit there by the Red Tornadoes. We'll have to see what the penalty marker is all about here.
Yeah, Red Tornadoes showing definitely more enthusiasm here in this second half. Penalty marker down, and I believe this one's going to go against Central Catholic. Thrown in that area where you might assume that it might be a holding call.
Still waiting for the signal, and it is indeed a holding. Oh, we're talking at halftime, Mike. Depending on circumstances, this may or may not be the end of football season on Super 2 Sports. Central Catholic certainly looking on to moving into the States, and we believe that's going to happen. I guess the question is, who will they be facing?
Well, it'll be Berwick if Berwick does win next week. But if Berwick were to lose, there's a possibility Strathaven might move up into the picture. But Vikes will definitely be off next week is number 1 definite. And number 2, they win here tonight, they will be in the state Eastern Finals.
Ramsey Delgado diving for the catch, but it's not in his hands, incomplete. And another goal line doorstep play there. That's how Central got on the board here to start things off on their first drive of the first quarter.
Delgado just unable to get that one. Cramsey laid it out there where it needed to be. Drayton coming in motion, then Delgado running and out and then up. Gets a little tangled up there, and that might have prevented him from getting to the pass.
That's all it would have taken on the timing play.
He just laid to the inside. You allow Delgado to run underneath and just unable to get to it.
2nd and 20. The ball on the Mount Carmel 24. Drayton moves to the right. Ramsey looks to that area and then dumps it off shallow. And still on his feet is Coleman. Everybody wants the MVP tonight.
Well, again, you know, there's so many weapons. You know, when you get your number called, you better give it your best effort because you don't know when you're getting it again. Well-designed play here. The Vikings shove everybody right, show movement right, and then they screen underneath the middle to Damian Coleman, who, you know, is one of those guys. He has game-breaking abilities also. Actually, a pretty good open field tackle that time by number 57, Klingerman.
3rd and 12. Wide to the right, they send Coleman. Ramsey from the left hash mark, now rolls to the left, the shuffle pass, it's complete. We have a marker down. Delgado untouched to the end zone. And it looks like this one is coming back. It is.
It does look like it's going to go against the Vikes, but boy, what a move Ramsey made. That looked like a 2-on-1 fast break in basketball. Ramsey kind of double pumped it because the defensive end was reading that shovel pass. Watch. Ramsey's going to get to the outside. Now he's looking to dump it. You see the defensive end drops in, and then when the end makes a move to Ramsey, then he says, now I got you, and then he drops it off underneath. But this one is going to come back.
3rd down.
So erase it. They'll start from the 20 now. 3rd and 17.
You know, that's one of the few times we have seen a defensive end actually read that play, Dan, and he still couldn't stop it. You know, he saw the underneath man coming, and he dropped back to get into that lane, and then Cramsey did a smart thing. He just hung onto the ball a little bit longer, and then the end had to make a move towards him, and he was able to drop it off inside.
Coleman wide to the right. Cramsey looks left and fires midfield. And Drayton gets a block downfield. He'll be herded well short of the first down, herded down to the ground. And it'll be a 4th down situation coming up.
You know, these guys block so well for another one, and it's either going to be Coleman or Delgado. Let's take a look after Drayton catches. He goes screen middle, drop it off over the middle, and now Delgado, let's see who it is coming into your screen right there. That was Delgado, and Coleman makes a good block. So 2 good blocks, but might still come up short of the first down.
First field goal attempt of the night, and it'll be taken by Tom Heidecker. No, it's 92, Robbins. Robbins lets it fly. We have a marker down, could be roughing the kicker, but it's good. So Robbins connects from 30 yards away, and we've got holding against Central Catholic. Well, how about that?
Well, what a good effort by Robbins. Had plenty of room to spare on that one. Knocked it right down the middle, but he's going to have to repeat it. Holding against the Vikes will be the call. Well, and hear the call there, no roughing there because the player was blocked into the holder, and you see the distance with which that cleared the uprights.
So the Vikings now a little long here for a field goal attempt, but we'll see if it looks like they're going to go for it.
Ryan Robbins, also a soccer player for years. They were not permitted to come out and do this kind of thing at Central Catholic, and now a little better communication, and I think that's a great idea. Give a young man an opportunity, you know, to show his football skills as well as a soccer player.
From 45 yards out, this one's going to be short. And it's caught. It looks like Mount Carmel will elect to return this ball. And they bring it up to about the 24-yard line.
Well, and a good effort there. You try and catch the kicking team off guard, and a pretty good return there. But
David Slater, the ball carrier, see him waiting for it in his own end zone.
Nate Davidson will eventually make the stop, number 23 for the Vikes. Good move there. And Davidson comes in to finish it off with help from number 21, Ryan Seagreaves.
Mike, this is one team, the Vikings of Central Catholic, that has rarely been caught sleeping throughout the entire season, and they've been in some pretty lopsided ball games.
Yeah, they've stayed mentally sharp, and you know, last week I think was the most emotion. You know, I've seen these young men or the team show, you know, after that East Penn Conference Championship winning game against Becca, and, you know, with good reason.
Higgins backtracks and throws the outlet to Veach. Veach is clobbered from behind. It's going to be a loss of yardage.
And coming in, number 61, Mark Lapadula. Not too much time to put too many moves on Veach. You know, the first move okay, but once you start going to 2 and 3, you have to be aware of who's coming in pursuit, especially when the wave starts coming. Look where Lapadula comes from. He's all the way on the left side. See, now Veach is looking in front and doesn't feel Lapadula from behind.
Lapadula responsible for getting Higgins out of the pocket to begin with. And now a nice run here. Round end ball carrier Gary Spears.
Spears is driven out of bounds by number 55, Harold Fairclough. Fairclough is the leading tackler on the Green Wave defense.
So Spears brings a very reachable 3rd down situation. 3rd and 3 coming up.
1:44 remain, 3rd quarter. The Vikes 27, Mount Carmel nothing. The Vikings looking to continue this season and move on. If they play again, it would be in 2 weeks, and it would be for the Eastern Finals.
From the I formation, Brett Veach on the move. The handoff goes to the other back, and he goes nowhere.
Well, there has been absolutely no room to run in the middle of that Viking defensive line. Down lineman Jim Morgans. This time leading the way was number 65, Todd Worley. But along with Morgans and Worley, it's Wells and Lapadula, and the linebackers Caramelli, Fairclough, Seagreaves, and Davidson all do a nice job of filling in those holes.
4th and 3. Tornadoes go to punt, and the rush was on. This one will dribble to the midfield stripe and then over it. And it'll be down at the Central Catholic 46.
Vikings have already blocked a punt on the night. This time a 28-yard effort for Mount Carmel with no return will give the Vikings the football on their own 46-yard line.
So the Vikings will have a little while to think about the teams that they might be facing in that state Eastern final, as it appears that that will be the case. Strathaven, one of the candidates for sure, if Berwick should fall.
If Berwick would stumble, certainly Berwick is the top-ranked team in that other region, and they win next week. I think the one thing that it really does for Central Catholic is it gives them a great opportunity to get everybody together and go scout and go see who the opponent is going to be.
The handoff goes to number 24. That's Frank Volpe, and Volpe gets a hard-nosed 6 yards out of it.
Getting back to that, Dan, you can look at films, which these coaches do get on the other teams or the opposing teams. But, films show you so much. They don't show you speed. They don't really show you size. And when you go and see a team in person, you get a better feel, I feel, for, both of those, the size and speed of a team. 10 seconds remaining here, third quarter. The Vikes will be happy to let it run down and go into the fourth quarter leading 27-0.
And that's exactly what they'll do. They'll move the ball a total of 4 yards to start the fourth quarter in just a bit. Stay with us for the final 12 minutes and perhaps a Central Catholic victory party on the horizon here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium. The Vikings big, leading Mount Carmel 27-0 in the 3A District 11 final. The Vikings of Central Catholic have been chilling out here on a very cold night at J. Bernie Crum Stadium. They lead Mount Carmel 27-0. Tim Cramsey scrambling. We have penalty markers down in the backfield. Cramsey lets it go and somehow finds his mark. What a grab by number 18, Damian Coleman.
This is all going to come back, but all of them rolling around in movement by Cramsey confused the defense. They had two players in position, and Cramsey let it go when they weren't looking. They didn't even see the ball coming. It was a completed pass, and a pass that Cramsey should not have thrown. But you can see the two defenders did not see the ball till it was late. You see Coleman coming up with a grab, but it is going to come back to where a couple of penalty markers on the play, and I believe it's going to be holding against Central Catholic.
The Red Tornado Spirit squad doing their thing out here in front of the visiting sidelines. And Central Catholic has the ball taken back to their own 30-yard line. It'll be second and a mile.
That second and a mile usually leads to that shovel pass. If I was a defensive coordinator, I think I'd be looking for it long about now.
Second down, about 27 for the Vikings.
Wide to the left comes Drayton. Coleman to the right. Cramsey, straight drop, looks for Rashawn. Drayton hauls it up there, and it's incomplete. Batted away nicely by the secondary.
Yeah, that was a real nice job. Number 28, Gary Spears, 5'11", 160-pound senior, played it very well.
An impressive ball game on both sides of the ball for Spears.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. Cramsey just running a fly pattern. Drayton trying to outrun the defense. Spears was able to stay step for step with him, and you see just right there in perfect position, turns and plays the ball and knocks it away.
Cramsey facing the wind now as we start the fourth quarter. And the wind keeping the American flag full. Directly going from goalpost to goalpost in the Vikings' faces. Coleman now to the left, Drayton to the right. Third and a mile. And a handoff goes to Volpe. Look out. Frank Volpe hurdles his body to the 45-yard line of Mount Carmel, where he's about 2 yards short.
They give you all that motion, and the motion draws the inside people out. Volpe on another good carry for him, able to crack it into the middle of that line and almost broke it. Volpe, 24-yard pickup on that play, was already averaging 7 yards a carry.
Fourth and short, and the Vikings will punt it.
He just did come up a yard or two short of the first down. The Vikes will have to give up the ball.
Jim Groller gets it to roll his way, and it's picked up at about the 6-yard line. Look out, Slater in trouble, and he's racked up at his own 12. And that was a no-win situation for Slater if he had let it go or not.
That was a dangerous situation to be picking the ball up there. 39-yard punt with a 9-yard return. But boy, with a defender that close, that's Caramelli. And Caramelli was real upset with himself. You see, he's looking at banging the turf. How did I miss that guy?
Slater probably would have let it go had it not bounced right up in front of his face. So he took the chance and made a little bit out of it, whereas Caramelli probably would have downed it near the goal line.
The Vikes' first punt of the night.
Quick play as they go to the side, and Higgins has his man well covered by the Central Catholic defense. And the man making the grab was number 29, that's Jeff Tronke.
Seagreaves along with Sean Fogarty on the stop for the Vikes. 9:54 remaining and counting.
That was John Lashinsky on the bench for Mount Carmel. And he may have some aches and he may have some pains, but nothing hurts more than looking up at the scoreboard and seeing that the Vikings have a 27-0 lead. Here comes the pass. Higgins has a man, and it's complete. The pass play bringing the ball out to the 28-yard line.
Joel Gonzalo, Higgins' favorite receiver, with his first reception of the night, running a deep curl. The Vikes in the semi-prevent there and allowed the curl just underneath, and you come up and play. But you see Gonzalo did a real nice job of finding that opening, and Higgins did a good job in delivering a strike.
Mount Carmel has certainly found its rhythm here on offense in the second half. They've moved the ball quite much better than the first half. Higgins on the rollout, under pressure, incomplete as he looked for Veach.
Last play picked up 15 yards for Mount Carmel. It was good for only their third first down of the evening.
How about those sturdy cameramen out there working against a chilly wind tonight? Down on the field, Sean Haas. And up high, we've had Tim Himmelwright and Mike Hodrick. Carl Timke, production assistant down at field level.
I'm sure a couple of them guys might wander down to the Jordan AC and try and warm up, maybe watch the replay tonight.
What makes you say that? There's the pass. Incomplete. A huge collision at the 45-yard line. The intended receiver, Bob Veach.
Ryan Seagreaves on the coverage, number 21.
Take a look at the play again.
And I think our producer has lost his mind. Higgins back to pass. You see pressure coming up the middle from number 65, Todd Worley.
Flag down was against Mount Carmel. Central Catholic will decline the penalty, and it'll be 3rd and 10. From the 29. Higgins flops it over the lineman, and look out. Down to the 45-yard line scampers Jeff Tronke.
Leading the interference was number 61, Jamie Rowland. Well-designed play. The Vikes coming strong in the middle and then dropping back deep, and in that prevent, you see they just drop it underneath on a flanker screen. Play picks up 17 yards for Mount Carmel.
Tronke wisely following that blocker as closely as possible. Not the biggest guy out there on the field. 5'6", 135 pounds. He's a senior. Quick pass and a good completion. Joe Gonzalo, first down Mount Carmel to the Central Catholic 42.
I mentioned how Gonzalo was a favorite receiver of Higgins. He has 49 catches on the year for 686 yards and 7 touchdowns. And Mount Carmel now just starting to take advantage of the Vikes softening a little bit and dropping back, but picking up some yardage. Those last 3 plays have netted more yardage than Mount Carmel has had the entire game. 15, 17, and 14 yards on the last 3 plays.
getting faced at the 45-yard line was Veets, and the ball comes loose. We're still waiting for the official call. It's Central Catholic's football at their own 45-yard line, and what a smack on the ball carrier right at the line of scrimmage.
Harold Fairclough injured on the play, number 55 up and leaving on his own power. Willie Edwards, number 51, is the one who came up with the fumble recovery. I believe it was 51 in the middle for the Vikes.
And who had the big hit but Jeremy Wells, 6'1", 195 pounds, the senior guard. He's getting face mask to face mask with the ball carrier. First and 10 for the Vikings. The offensive unit may be getting a little tired. 7:32 remaining in the game, and it's 27-0 Vikings. Red Tornado defense stops this one. And I wouldn't be surprised, Mike, if Central is just content to keep it on the ground.
Yeah, well, a lot of people felt coming in that this was going to be a little bit of a mismatch, and I guess it's been kind of proven here tonight. The Vikes, really Bethlehem Catholic was the team that really finished second. They opted to go to play in the Eastern Conference and go where, number one was, and that was Berwick. They were beaten this afternoon, in case you did not hear, but the final of that game was 15-3 Berwick over Bethlehem Catholic. But, this is a young Mount Carmel team that is gaining a great deal of experience here tonight.
Ball carrier, Rashawn Drayton. And Drayton tries to split the middle, makes it up to about the 49-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Joe Wargo making the stop. Head coach Jim Morgan's pacing the sidelines. Has his daughter's Jamie's jacket on tonight, has number 55 on it from the girls basketball team.
And Jim, in the wintertime, will be the athletic trainer for that team.
He has a great rapport with all the athletes at Central Catholic, and I think that has really been one of the keys to the
Oh my, Ramsey, and this should be. It's not pass interference. It looked like it may have been, perhaps ruling the ball unreachable. Damian Coleman, intended receiver, and Ramsey had him in the gun sights. Take a look.
Ramsey, a nice job. See the way he hides the ball on his hip. Good mechanics. And look at the time he has. And, that's a combination of two things. Your line doing a real good job and the success of your running game. When you play action off an explosive running game like Central Catholic has, you can just see the linebackers and the linemen freeze a little bit to respect the running game. And that's all you need sometimes is a second or two of hesitation from them linemen.
Vikings forced to punt. Groller lets it go from his own 40, and it'll bounce at the Mount Carmel 30 and roll just past the 20 as bodies start to fly. Players realizing that the end is near on the season here for Mount Carmel, letting it all hang out here.
33-yard punt with no return, only the second time on the night the Vikes have had to punt the football away.
So the Tornadoes will have it at their own 18-yard line.
Well, and I think when the Mount Carmel team and coaching staff looks back on their season, they have to be pretty excited about it. You just don't lose an entire offensive line and come in and, do the things that you feel like you're capable of doing till that unit meshes. And, they opened up the 93 season with 3 straight wins, and one of those was a win over Marion Catholic, who at this point in the year is 11-1. The only loss that they have suffered is against this Mount Carmel team. And
Arian playing tonight in the District 11 1A final.
Right. So, they're top in the top 10 ranking in the morning call area. So, that's always speaks well for your season. They're 8-3 coming in, looking like they're going to finish 8-4 in the year. But I think a pretty good year, under first-year coach Whitey Williams. He, by the way, was a former coach at Tamaqua High School.
Tornadoes have called timeout to talk things over with 5:31 remaining in the contest. Central Catholic Vikings led 14-0 after 1 and 27-0 at the half. They hold that lead with 5:31 to play.
Yeah, no, we were sitting on the other side. You go into
Viking defense getting back on the field and into place. Having a fire drill up here. Something about, oh, here we go. 1st and 10 from the 18. Mount Carmel goes to work. Loose ball. And the Mount Carmel Tornadoes hold on to it, picking up a couple of yards on the run. Here we go. 5 minutes remaining. And the ball carrier was Trocki. Trocki makes it to the 30-yard line. I'm running out of breath up here.
I had to open the window up here. Are we having any fun yet? Oh, boy.
From the 31, here comes the Red Tornado. 1st and 10. And Spears gets hammered at the line of scrimmage.
Ryan Ritter, one of the first fights in there, number 9. Vikings 4-10 away from a berth in the Eastern State Finals.
And an official timeout is called as we have some equipment problems being taken care of by Mount Carmel.
In case you missed some of last night's action, Easton District 11 4A champs for the 3rd time in 4 years with a 26-14 win over Pottsville. District 11 2A Palmerton, a 19-0 winner over Pine Grove. And in the Eastern Conference, round 1, Liberty advancing to the championship game. They will take on Williamsport next week.
Incomplete, and we have a penalty marker down. It looks like it'll be pass interference on Central Catholic, raising the ire of Sam Seneca, the defensive coordinator on the far sideline.
Well, and it was number 32, Sean Fogarty, and he looked like a good job of avoiding the receiver. I didn't see the receiver move it. I'll see if we can pick it up. Fogarty is going to come around to the outside. Well, we're screened a little bit, but it didn't look, the receiver's complaining, and maybe, maybe the guy's practicing to be an attorney because he won his case. But it really didn't look like there was much that Fogarty did to bump him or brush him. He didn't show much resistance to it.
So bring it up and give Mount Carmel a 1st down at their own 46.
7th first down for Mount Carmel, with 6 of those coming in the second half.
They go to the hurry-up offense. Higgins lets it fly midfield. Oh my! And busting loose is Bob Beach. He could go all the way. Touchdown, Mount Carmel.
And a couple of missed tackles. 55-yard touchdown completion has given the Red Raider followers, or the Red Tornado followers, a little something to cheer about. There you go.
And it races the goose egg up on the scoreboard. 3:32 remaining in the contest.
And it says something about the quality of this program and the heart and desire to continue to play and to continue to fight. A couple of missed tackles in the secondary for the Vikes. They don't wrap their arms, and as a result, they give up the touchdown. First one for Mount Carmel on the night. 3:32 remain, 4th quarter.
And it looks like the Red Tornadoes will go for 2. Higgins with a full house backfield behind him. And he'll roll out, look out. Heat comes from all around, he pops it up. Free for all in the end zone, and it'll fall incomplete.
Higgins under all kind of pressure.
And now we have a late flag as they start to mix it up a little bit.
Bearing down on Higgins was number 61, Mark Lapidula. Let's take a look at the replay. Watch, the Vikes are going to come in and deliver the blow. but they don't wrap their arms. You see, they just don't get the arms wrapped around. And Veach, number 5, who stands at 6 foot, they have him at 130 pounds. Certainly a lot more solid than that. That's for sure. 130-pounder standing up well. Took a pretty good shot from Delgado there, but races into the end zone from 55 yards out. An 82-yard drive for Mount Carmel. 4 plays, 3 on the ground, 1 in the air. The touchdown reception from Higgins to Veach. 55 yards, the extra point, the try for 2, not good. The Vikes still in control, 27-6, 3:32 remaining.
Whitey Williams, still a lot of fight left in that man.
Frozen. Well, and the altercation in the end zone, I think, has resulted perhaps in maybe some more ejections here, or some players who are not going to finish it. It's to that point we might see some second-teamers for Central Catholic anyway at this point here, but nobody looked like. Mount Carmel will be penalized.
And it is an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Altercation at the end of the play, and I'm sure some frustration there, but again, you still must control those emotions. You come along in what has been a good season, you have to expect you're going to run into a good football team, just like Central's going to move on, and they're going to run into better, better teams, and you have to be prepared, and when things get going bad, you still must control your emotions. Looking for the onside kick. The Vikes have all of the line backfield men and wide receivers, but Mount Carmel kicks it deep.
And it goes back to the 15-yard line, where it was just kind of rolling around at the ankles of Drayton. Drayton falling on the ball, and Central go to work from their own 15. 3:26 remaining in the contest. 27-6, the Vikings.
Well, and Drayton does a smart thing. He tried to pick it up once, tried it twice, and by that time people have to be zeroing in on you. And you're looking down at the ball, and you're best just falling on it, even though it is back on your own 15-yard line. But you're best just falling on it and just letting the offense take over from there.
And that's what Central will do. Looking to string together some plays here and try to run the time out of the clock. Looking to improve to 12-0 and clinch their first trip to the States. And before they do that, they'll call timeout.
Yeah, Coach Morgan's trying to get some experience, getting some players in there to get a little playing time in this district championship game. I seen one in particular, number 17, Ken Eisenhardt, quarterback, will come in now and replace Cramsey, 6-footer at junior, and probably the heir apparent to the quarterbacking spot for the Vikes.
So we'll get to see the future of the Central Catholic team, and the Vikings looking to join Easton and Palmerton as District 11 champions this season. Palmerton shutting out Pine Grove 19-0 in the 2A final. You remember, Mike, last year Palmerton, a real gutsy performance against a Catasauqua team that was loaded with talent. Guys like Brad Lauer and John Linton. And Palmerton held tight but lost to Catasauqua in the late going, 14-10, coming back this year to claim the District 11 title.
Well, sometimes it takes to get there once, and not always do you go in and win it the first time, but when you get that close, that can give you the determination and the work ethic which it takes to win in this league. And I talked about it all year long. That's why the Vikings are where they are. It's that dedication to that weight room and the working in between games, or in between seasons, that pays off.
How about Rashawn Drayton skipping and hopping and doing whatever it takes to get the ball upfield. First down and plenty more for the Vikings.
Drayton is also an outstanding basketball player. Viking basketball program, the defending District 11 champs. I believe they've won it 2 years in a row, as a matter of fact. And Drayton, an integral part of that season last year, and will most probably be a very big part of it this year under Rich Baxa.
With not a whole lot of time to prepare once again.
Well, that's one of the things. Yeah, Ken Eisenhardt is at quarterback. We talked about him just a second ago. You see number 17.
Eisenhardt hands off to the first man through, and Volpe, or Fogarty, makes his way up. Well, let's change that to Frank Gallagher, the fullback. 5'8", 170 pounds. He's a senior. And he brings it up to the 33.
See Gallagher now running out of that fullback spot. Again, nice blocking up front now by the offensive line. Some new faces also up front there.
2nd and 4 from the 33. And they hand off to Nate Davidson. Look out, Davidson cutting loose. And he'll have a Central Catholic first down. 2:02 remaining in the contest. So some of the players who don't get the spotlight regularly getting the ball and making the most out of it. Davidson, a 6', 170-pound junior. To the right goes Jim Groller, man who handles the punting, also the receiver. And the handoff this time goes to Gallagher. Ball's loose, and we didn't hear a whistle until it was picked up by a red tornado, but now we've got the play blown dead.
Well, there's a big pile laying there. You see that pile there?
They think the ball's still in there.
There's no football down in there. Coming out of it was number 72, came out of that and started heading downfield, was Brian Dixon. Oh, there you go.
Oh, it is the Red Tornadoes football. We just got the signal.
Yeah, there was a fumble, and it was recovered by Mount Carmel. They did not allow the advance of the ball because I'm sure they were down on the ground, and as a result of that, you're considered down. You can't get up and run with it, but fumble recovery stands, and Mount Carmel will take over.
And they'll have the ball from their own 45-yard line, will the Red Tornadoes. 1:44 remaining in the contest, 27-6, Central Catholic leading all the way.
And both these teams will receive medals from the District 11 officials following tonight's game. We will not stick around for that, as each one will be introduced individually, but the winners, which will be the Vikes, the way things are looking here, holding on to a 27-6 lead with 1:44 to play, will receive the gold medal for the second time in the last 3 years, and the second time under the direction of quarterback Tim Cramsey and, a host of other people now who are seniors. These young men will look back on absolutely great careers at Central Catholic, and they are not finished yet.
And Mount Carmel now sending some new life, new blood into the lineup. Ball popping loose, but not until the play was blown dead. And Mike, looking down the road, say it is Central Catholic and Berwick for the Eastern Final. Any thoughts there? I guess we're going to see a heck of a coaching matchup.
Oh, you will, and it's, it is a little bit down the road. I guess the first question is, where will they play? I heard rumors about Lackawanna County Stadium, where Bethlehem Catholic and Berwick played a couple of years ago, where Bethlehem Catholic did beat Berwick on their way to their second state championship. But a tough matchup. That's going to be a great football game. Berwick, as we talked with their head coach just last week here, and starting a lot of young players, and perhaps a little bit surprised at the success of his team. 17 sophomores would start on combined offense and defense, but yet, I guess the story goes, certain programs do not rebuild, they reload, and they loaded the revolver with a lot of good bullets, and they fired them at them. Match up two undefeated teams, and whenever you get that far into the season, and you look at that, that's going to be a toss-up kind of a game. I just, as much as we've seen this Central Catholic team, the overall team speed, and with the defensive and offensive line that we see, and certainly Delgado and Drayton and what they can accomplish, it's going to take some kind of an effort to slow this offense down. And I really think what we saw last week with what Bethlehem Catholic did in controlling the ball is really your best opportunity. If you give this offense the ball too many times, you are going to get hurt by it. And I think your best shot is if a team comes up that has the ability to control the ball and keep the ball away from the offense, certainly will have an opportunity to beat them.
Thinking back to the last time Bethlehem Catholic faced Berwick before today, Eric Marsh, a senior for Bethlehem Catholic, and the Hawks beating the Bulldogs that day. And today, Eric Marsh for Lafayette, the junior running back, became the Patriot League all-time leading rusher. Lafayette's all-time leading rusher in a loss against Lehigh. So Lehigh takes the Patriot League crown.
And I think you were also right with that. That's a Patriot League
Okay.
also, the all-time Patriot League rushing leader also. Yeah, outstanding career he has, and he's only a junior. Mm-hmm. He's coming back next year to do it all over again.
One of the leaders in NCAA Division I AA rushing, Eric Marsh. Timeout for Mount Carmel. 7 seconds remaining. 27-6 the score. Central Catholic in control all the way here tonight at J. Bernie Crum Stadium. Now this, for all intents and purposes, should be the final play of the game.
Vikings 7 seconds away from tacking on yet another award to this outstanding year. They are already the East Penn Conference champs. And with this play right here will become the District 11 3A champions and advance into the Eastern Finals. 2 weeks from this weekend, they will be off for a week, do a little scouting work, and then we'll be back to work and see how far this green machine can continue to roll.
For Whitey Williams, so not a bad first year, 8-4, making his way to the District 11 final. There's the final score, 27-6. We'll be right back to wrap up the success story of Central Catholic on their way to a second consecutive District 11 crown right after this. Back here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium, the gentlemanly-like thing to do at the end of the game taking place out there at midfield. 27-6 the final score. Mike, let's find out what happened behind those numbers.
Well, let's look at Mount Carmel. First of all, they closed the year with an 8-4 record, and an excellent year it was. 8 first downs, 30 yards rushing, 10 of 16 passing for 142 yards. They had 172 total yards of offense, with just about all of that coming in the second half. They had only 24 in the first half, and that's what the Vikings will take home and put in the trophy case at down on 4th Street, and that will fit in there nicely with the 1-1 in 1991, and also all those district championships that they have with the basketball program.
Oh, yeah.
They're all pretty similar.
Another green banner going up Rockney Hall.
Yeah, right. 1 fumble lost on the night for Mount Carmel. They were 5 of 14 punting for a 14-yard average. 3 penalties for 24 yards. They had no statistical leaders. For the Vikes, 15 first downs, 11 of them coming in the first half. 218 yards rushing, 8 of 14 passing for 169. Tim Cramsey has just had 2 marvelous games in District 11 play in his career at Central Catholic, and will have 2 district championships to show for it. 387 yards, right around their average on the season, averaging 365, a little better. 1 fumble loss. They punted twice for a 36-yard average. They were penalized 8 times for 85 yards, and I'm sure something that the coaching staff and maybe even Dennis Romello, the AD, will take a look at before they tee it up again. Statistical leaders: Delgado 8 carries, 53 yards, goes over 1,000 for the year. Drayton 12 carries, 49 yards. Volpe 5 carries, 46 yards. Fogarty 6 carries, 34 yards, and the list goes on and on and on. The Vikings are the District 11 3A champs.
And there they are, waiting to receive their individual medals. We're just about out of time, so for our director tonight, Andy Himmelwright, and our chief engineer, Scott Richardson, I want to also thank Bill Bickle, our chief statistician. For Mike Zambelli, this is Dan Mowdy. Thanks for joining us here on Super 2 Sports tonight, where Central Catholic beat Mount Carmel for the District 11 3A championship. Final score 27-6. Good night.